Hello, Unit 4, Day 3 notes. We're on to the next. Again, at the top here, you will see all of your objectives. It's a lot of objectives in a day, but we will get through it together, of course, always together. Um, so let's start right away. We are moving here we're jumping right into solving equations here. If you can't read it, again, print them out and work with me. They are in your Canvas shell. You will see them. They say note. There's also a key uploaded. Don't, like I would probably just print out the empty ones, try to work them out with me, and then you can look online to look at the key if you wanted to see if you got the ones that we didn't do correct, okay? So we didn't start here, we started here, and we are simplifying, we're solving for W. So in this particular case, we want to get W by itself, and -3 and W next to each other means that they're multiplied. In order to get rid of that 3, we need to divide by -3. And if we divide by -3 here, we have to divide this side by -3. Cancels out, thank goodness over there, because we want that W by itself. And -21 divided by -3 became +7, okay? So when W is by itself, you're done. Because once you're solving for W, all you need to do is try to get W by itself. All right, so next one with the star, and we're doing the starred problems if you haven't looked at the other videos. The next one with the stars, this one we're solving for V. V is here next to the 3, and just like we did here, we're trying to get V by itself. Let's divide away 3, okay? And we divided it on both sides. I usually draw that line to show that if I do something on this side, I have to do the same on that side. That means it cancels out there, and I'm going to use my handy dandy calculator. This calculator is awesome. I talk about it all the time. Please try to, this is the approved calculator for this course. Please try to get one. It's $12 at Walmart. Very, very, very well worth the money. It is, and you use it all the way up through pre-calculus. I believe in calculus is when you move up to the next level calculator, but in pre-calc, I teach pre-calc, and you do use this calculator there too. So even if you're not taking pre-calc all the way up, Math 9, we use this calculator. We just use it all the way up. So it is very well worth the investment. So anyway, I'm going to take 3.8. Hold on, let me turn the calculator on first. 3.84, and I'm dividing that by 3 because I divided in 3 on both sides. My answer here is 1.28. So 1.28 would be my answer for V. And how do I know I'm done? Because V is by itself. Solve for V. When V is by itself, we are done. All right. Next problem. We're trying to get Y by itself. And it looks like a difficult situation because you have this number at the bottom and Y is at the top, and you just have that number over there. You're just trying to get Y by itself. If it's dividing, you have to do the opposite to get rid of it. So if it's division, the opposite is multiplication. So all I'm going to do here is multiply by 10.24 here. And if I do it on this side, I have to do it here, 10.24. Okay. So that's all that happens there. And then I can multiply 4 times what, 10.24 to get my answer on the left-hand side, 40.96. 40.96 will be my answer when I multiply these two. And guess what? Y is now by itself. Once Y is by itself, we are done. Okay? And I know these get really, really nasty later. So take your time in ALEKS. Take your time in ALEKS to practice. Practice makes perfect. Okay? All right. So if you're looking at these, and a lot of times these give people headaches, but the more you do it, the better you will get at it. I know that to be true because in truth, I'm not a math genius. I do have a degree in mathematics, but it took me some time. I was just not perfect in it. I had to really, really practice. So if you're seeing a problem like this with the fraction in front of the number, in order to get rid of this, there's multiple ways you can solve this problem. I'm going to show you a way. ALEKS might show you another way. Whatever you feel comfortable with, use that. This one, I would, if I saw a fraction in front of the letter, I need this letter by itself, I would multiply by the reciprocal, which is basically flipping this fraction. Instead of 3 over 7, I put 7 over 3. That's the reciprocal. But if I multiply that here, I have to multiply that reciprocal here. And what happens here is it does this. See that? Cancels everything out. So that's why y is now by itself. But then we have that nasty situation on that side. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take 9, okay, and multiply it by, there's multiple ways I can answer this, and it says simplify your answer as much as possible, so I can probably have a decimal. I'm going to have parentheses 7 divided by 3, okay? I can do it this way and get my answer. 21, it's not even a decimal, yay, okay? So please make sure if you're multiplying by this fraction, you put it in parentheses, okay? Put the fraction in parentheses. So my answer is 21, because that means it'll make it an actual fraction as opposed to multiplying by 9 first, okay? Order of operation. So now my answer is 21, and I know that because y is by itself. Let's go down here. 4 over 9 equals 2x. And this looks like it could be the same problem, and then you start to reciprocal, but you're not worried about this 4 over 9 right now. You're trying to get x by itself. Remember your purpose, okay? You're not worried about just the fact that it has a fraction. We can worry about that later, but we're trying to get x by itself. So we're not going to do reciprocals here. The reason why we did this reciprocal up here is because 3 over 7 was on the same side as the y. Here, the 2's on the same side. So I'm just going to divide both sides by 2, okay? So yes, it looks nasty, but I can use my calculator. So if I have 4 over 9, I'm going to put that in parentheses, 4 divided by 9, like that, okay? And then I'm going to divide that by 2. Okay, so yes, it looks weird, but it's just, that's fine. Put it in your calculator, let it do the work for you. And look at that, 0.22222. I don't like that. I don't like how that looks. So what I'm going to do instead, I'll still put it in parentheses. I'm going to put 4. And instead of division, if you looked at the last video, I used this button here, right above sign. I used, parentheses, I used this ABC right above the sign. I'm going to click that. It's going to give you a little backwards L and 9, okay? So basically, this is 4 over 9, okay? And then I'll divide it by 2. And let's see what that gives me. Look at that. If you put that little backwards L, if you push this little button and get backwards, the answer will come out as a fraction. And in this case, that's what I liked. That 0.222 is really ugly. And it depends on Alex. A lot of times they want the answers in a fraction, so that this calculator gives you the answer as a fraction. 2 over 9. If you put that little backwards L, practice that, okay? Practice that, and it will help you. I love that feature over there. All right, so I'm going to let you guys kind of try that one on your own. Make sure you look at the key. It's the same type of problem we just did here, but I want you to kind of practice that on your own. All right. All right, so here we have negative 2 over 3x equals negative 14. Again, this number here is on the same side with the letter, and we're trying to get the letter x by itself, solving for x. Okay, so this one is similar to the one we did up here. So if we have a fraction next to the letter or a fraction with the letter, you're going to take the reciprocal, which is, this case, negative 3 over 2, negative 3 over 2. Okay. And of course, what happens there is it cancels out because we want the x by itself. That's why we're doing reciprocal there. And I'm going to throw this in my calculator. It's negative 14, okay? And then I'm going to use that little backwards L thing because I want you to practice it. -3, and then that ABC, it gives you like a little backwards L, that ABC, that button there. And then I want to say that's 2. Yeah, 2. Put that in calculator. That's kind of what it's going to look like when you do it. And when you push enter, it gives me a whole number. I don't even have to worry about it being it became 21. I don't have to worry about it being a fraction, but just in case you want to use it, just so that if it becomes a nasty fraction like this, I mean decimal like that one, we can use the fraction instead. All right, so let's look at this one. For each value of, excuse me, I'm sorry. All right, so for each value of y, determine whether it's a solution. And the problem is -4 equals 1 minus 5y, okay? And again, you're solving for y first, and then you can see if it's a solution. We'll talk about that in a minute. Let's just solve this problem, and then we can figure out whether it's a solution or not, okay? So in this case, we're trying to get y by itself, okay? So let's get rid of this number first. And you're going to get used to that once we start moving into the problems with more numbers than one. So let's get rid of this. This number is positive. So in order to get rid of it, I'm going to subtract it, okay? So you subtract it there. This becomes -5y. I just brought that down. Equals -4 and -1, -5. Now I'm trying to get y by itself. Divide by -5 to get rid of it. So -5 divided by -5 is +1. So once your y is by itself, that is your solution, okay? So in this case, it's saying, is it a solution, yes or no? I see +1 here. +1 is a solution. I just found that out right here, okay? The rest of these, 0, -5, 2, those are no, okay? Because my solution is 1. So that's my solution. So that's how they want you to answer there. That's how you'll kind of see it in Alex at times. All right. All right. So here on the next page, you are solving for V. And this one, the reason why it's kind of weird, and I'll show you what that means, what happens here when you have a negative variable. Okay, so 272 is a positive number, okay? This negative belongs to the number behind it. It always belongs to this number. So V is actually negative here. 272 is positive. In order to get rid of it, I have to subtract it from both sides. And I'm bringing down the -V. You have to recognize that, all right? So I want to say it's going to be 99 minus 272, and that gave me -173. So -173, and there's multiple ways you can do this type of problem. What I would say is if you have a negative variable, make it positive and then change the sign of this over here. Basically, you're multiplying or dividing by a negative number. It changes the sign. That becomes 173. It makes it easier for me to say, if you flip this sign, flip this sign. That's just the easiest way to put that. Again, Alex is going to probably explain it away. Oh, you have to multiply by -1 on both sides, which is fine. If you multiply by -1 and multiply by -1, your answer would be, you'd basically be flipping the signs, exactly what I said. All right, so let's go down here to the next problem. We have 4x minus 2 equals -18. Okay, so we are going to solve. It says solve for x, simplify your answer as much as possible. We're going to do that. For here, we're trying to get x by itself. When it's a number that's attached to x, you're going to wait till last to do that one, okay? So let's get rid of this -2 or -2 here. I'm going to add 2 to both sides. So I'm going to bring down 4x equals -18 plus 2 becomes -16. Then, in order to get x, and then you're going to get used to this because you're going to see it a lot, you just divide away that 4. Now my x is by itself. That's exactly what I wanted. -16 divided by 4 becomes -4. And that, once your x is by itself, you're done. Got it? Sorry, I'm just making sure there's a back. There is a back. All right, so let's go ahead and I'll write this out because I like to have some room to actually work with the problem. Let's go ahead and here, when you have this problem here, it looks like this. You're going to distribute first, and we worked on distributing for day 2. It should be pretty basic, straightforward. You should know how to distribute. We're going to multiply 7 times W, and then 7 times 5. This becomes 7W, plus 7 times 5 is 35. And just bring down that 105. Now it's a basic 2-step equation, kind of like what we did up here. I'm getting rid of the one that's attached, the number that's attached from weight to last. I'm getting rid of that 35, subtract 35 from both sides. I want to say 105 minus 35 is 70. Yep, 70. And now, in order to get my W by itself, I'm going to divide by 7 on both sides. W will equal 70 minus, divided by 7, that becomes 10. So once your W is by itself, that's your solution on the right hand side. I mean, on the other side. Not always on the right hand side. All right, couple more problems for these particular notes. All right, so let's look at this one. Again, pay attention that this is a positive number. Negative 7u. 7u is negative. Minus 7u. When you have the minus in the middle, that means that second number is negative. Okay, so pay attention to that because it can trick you up. So let's go ahead and subtract 15.9 because what we're trying to do, remember your purpose, get u by itself. It's all for you. Cancels out there. All right, so 4.7 minus 15.9 is what we have there. My answer, once I put that in my calculator, I got negative 11.2. So negative 11.2 equals negative 7u. So now I'm just going to divide, because I'm trying to get u by itself, I need to get rid of that negative 7. I'm going to divide it away. So this becomes, if you divide by negative 7, your answer becomes 1.6. Okay? Positive 1.6, you can tell 2 negatives become positive, and bring that u down. Once u is by itself, then that is your solution. All right? Now this problem right here, the last problem that we have, this is I wouldn't say always, but this is a common one that I see missed a lot when you have the multiple numbers up here over a number at the bottom. So what you're going to do here, if you see this, you're not always going to see problems like this, but when you do see problems like this, understand that it's kind of like a different type of problem. It's not exactly the formulaic ones that we use every time. It's kind of like right here. So try this one after we're done. The first thing you do with this is get rid of that fraction. I would get rid of, you need to get rid of this fraction at the bottom, the 2 at the bottom, by multiplying by it. Whatever number's at the bottom, we're going to multiply by, but then you have to multiply on this side by the same number, okay? So what that does is get rid of that little number there. Everything at the top just comes straight down. 5 times 2 here becomes 10, and now it looks like what we're kind of used to, okay? Then we can subtract 22 from both sides, trying to get x by itself. So 3x equals 10 minus 22, it becomes negative 12. Divide by 3. The more you do this, the easier this is get for you. And then negative 12 divided by 3 becomes negative 4. Okay? And once x is by itself, it's good. But again, pay attention when you see problems like that. So that's kind of how you would start this one, and then you just move in the right direction. Remember, look at the key to make sure that you get that one correct, but I do want you to try that if you can. Okay? So that's it. That's it for day 3 notes.